afternoon everyone. Welcome to Raos Academy, Hyderabad Branch. I am Shwetashri. Today I am here to teach some of the most important economics PYQs. Whereas the first question of the day is with regarding to industry. So here the question is, consider the following factors regarding an industry. Here it has given some of the few factors and the given question is, which of these determine the nature and the size of the industry. Here it is asking that which of these factors will going to determine the size of a particular industry, and how we will going to solve this particular question. It is through here it has given the capital investment. So here it is that the size of the particular industry will be large or small depends upon the capital investment. If the capital investment is high, then automatically size of the industry will be high. If the capital investment is low, then the size of the industry will be a small scale industry. So of course this capital investment is going to determine the size of the industry, then followed by business turnover. What do you mean by this term business turnover refer to? It refer to the total value of sales. So this business turnover refer to total value of sales, whereas on the basis of this particular business turnover we will use to analyze and determine a particular industry as a large scale industry or a small scale industry. And second one is also a correct one. If you see here the labor force, depending upon the size of the industry we will going to determine the labor force, or we will going to fix the labor force. For example, if a particular industry, a small scale industry or a large scale industry, so depends on the size of a particular industry we will going to determine the labor force, but not basis on the presence or the number of labor force. Here the term labor force actually refer to the total number of workers present in a particular industry. So here the size of the industry will going to determine the labor force, but not the labor force will going to determine the size of the industry. So in that context third one is going to be an incorrect one. Then followed by the power consumption. Usually the large scale industries will going to consume a large amount of or a huge amount of power in order to operate different huge equipments, whereas the small scale industries will going to take the less amount of power consumption when compared to that of the large scale industries. So power consumption will also determine the size of the industry, whereas if the power consumption is high in a particular industry we can determine a particular industry as a large scale industry. If the power consumption is less, we can determine that particular industry as a small scale industry. So fourth one is a correct one. So in that way we can solve, and also we will determine the different factors in order to determine the size of a particular industry. So 1, 2 and 4 are correct one. Option B is the correct answer. Then followed by, with reference to the power sector in India, consider the following statements. So here the first statement given is the rural electrification has been treated as the basic minimum service under the PM's Gramodaya Yojana. If you see closely observe this Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, this particular Yojana, it is a flagship initiative, and this initiative is responsible in order to improve the rural basic infrastructure. And what does this term rural basic infrastructure refer to? In order to improve the electricity accessibility and also in order to improve the education as well as the health services. So under this particular scheme called the Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, the rural electrification is also one of its features. So first one is correct one. Then if you strike these two, then followed by 100% foreign direct investment in power is allowed without the upper limit. If you closely observe that in 1991, after the LPG reforms, the government has provided and the government has allowed the 100% foreign direct investment in order to attract the foreign investment as well as the technology in the improvement of power sector. So second one is also a correct statement. Followed by, the Union Minister of Power has signed a memorandum of understanding with 14 states. So if you closely observe here, it has mentioned a particular figure, that is the 14 states, but it is not only with the 14 states but definitely more than that of the 14 states. That means usually in general also if you think that electricity is a basic need for all the states. So it is not only up to that of the 14 states but most of the Indian states. So in that context, third option is going to be an incorrect one. So first and second are the only correct statements. So option B is the correct answer. Then followed by, consider the following statements about the mega cities of India. So before getting into different statements, let me give you a brief background with regarding to mega cities. What do you mean by this particular term mega cities actually refer to? Whereas we will call those cities as the mega cities if the population of that city consists of 5 million people or more than 5 million population, then we will call that particular city as the mega cities. And what were these mega cities include? The Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore as well as the Hyderabad. All of these urban cosmopolitan cities will come under the mega cities because in all those cities the population is huge, that is more than 5 million people. So in that context, let's see the different statements. Here the population of each mega city is more than 5 million, which is a correct statement. Then followed by, all the mega cities are important seaports. So if you closely observe, as of now, as I told you, I have given a brief about what were the different mega cities. So if you closely observe, the Delhi, Hyderabad as well as that of the Bangalore, all of these three mega cities have been located inland. They do not have the accessibility to sea or seaport. So here the Mumbai, Kolkata as well as the Chennai, only these mega cities have the accessibility to seaport, whereas that of these are the inland mega cities which do not have the accessibility to seaports. In that context, here it has mentioned that all the mega cities are important seaports. So it is going to be an incorrect one because few of them were the inland mega cities. So second one is an incorrect one. Then followed by, mega cities are either national or the state capitals, which is a directly correct statement. So as of now, as I told you, different mega cities, all of them are either state capitals or that of the national capital, right? So New Delhi, which is a national capital, followed by Mumbai, which is a capital of Maharashtra, Bangalore, capital of Karnataka, Hyderabad, capital of Telangana, Kolkata as well as the Chennai, which were the capitals of West Bengal as well as Tamil Nadu. So in such way, option 1 and 3 are the correct statements with regarding to mega cities. So option D is the correct statement, is the correct answer. Then followed by, consider the following statements. It has given a certain description and with regarding to that particular description, it has given certain statements. So let's read this description. Small scale industries are in most cases not as efficient and competitive as the large ones, yet the government provides preferential treatment and reservations in a range of products to the small firms because these small scale industries provide higher employment on per unit capital deployment basis. So if you see the first statement, usually in the small scale industries, these small scale industries are the labor intensive industries. Here the term labor intensive industries refer to, they will deploy and employ a lot of labor with a less capital. With the less capital investment, they employ a lot of workers. That means they have the greater labor force. So usually these small scale industries promote the employment through this kind of labor intensive industries. So here it has mentioned that provide high employment on a per unit capital deployment basis. So first statement is a correct one. Let's cross these two. Then followed by, it promotes a regional dispersion of industries and again the economic activities. What does this actually refer to? Usually if you see the large scale industries, which includes the Tata steel industry or any kind of the chemical or the fertilizer industries, they are the huge industries and they do not going to disperse or decentralize in the remote or that of the decentralized or rural areas. But these small scale industries which can disperse to different rural areas as well as that of the different remote areas, and they can establish in different regions. So you will get to see the decentralized establishment of these small scale industries. So in such way, these small scale industries can reduce the regional disparities and also promotes the regional equality. Here it has given that it promotes a regional dispersion of industries and the economic activities. It is a correct statement. Then followed by how these small scale industries have performed better in export of manufactured products than the large scale ones. Usually if it has given only with regarding to export of manufactured products, it is going to be an correct one, but it has given the comparison with that of large scale ones. Usually these large scale industries were greatly responsible for the production as well as the export of different products when compared to that of these small scale industries. So it is going to be an incorrect one, as here it has mentioned that small scale industries export the manufactured products when compared to large scale ones. So third one is going to be an incorrect one, followed by it provides jobs to low skilled workers who otherwise may not find employment avenues elsewhere. Here this particular statement is a very narrow statement and also a very extreme statement. So in that context, the fourth one is going to be an incorrect one. So option B is the correct answer. That is 1 and 2 are the correct statements with regarding to small scale industries. Then followed by, from the balance sheet of a company, it is possible to determine which of these following statements. So before getting into these statements, you have to understand what do you mean by the balance sheet of a particular company. Here the balance sheet is nothing but it is a financial statement of a particular company. So here this balance sheet includes the two components, one being that of assets and the other one being that of liabilities. And here the assets of a company includes the cash, equity as well as that of the inventory. Then followed by the liabilities includes the debt, or you can say the loan. So this is what actually the balance sheet of a company refer to. And here this balance sheet refer to the assets of a company as well as the liabilities of a company, but this particular balance sheet do not provides the profitability of a company. Usually the profit of a company or the profit of a company at a particular period of time can be determined based on that of income statement or on the basis of the profit and loss statement, but not on the basis of balance sheet. Whereas if you see another one being that of the market share of the company, whereas the market share of a particular company will be determined based on that of the industrial analysis, but not on the basis of balance sheet. So if you see the different statements with regarding to balance sheet of a company, here it has mentioned that in order to judge the extent of profitability of this company, it is not the profitability of the company, because the profitability of a company will be determined through the income statement or that of profit and loss statement, but not through the balance sheet of a company. So if you see the next one, in order to assess the profitability and the size of a company, which is again an incorrect one. Then followed by determine the size and composition of assets, liabilities of the company, which is directly a correct statement with regarding to balance sheet. So option C is a correct one. And let's analyze the last one being determine the market share, debts, assets of the company. So here obviously this balance sheet of a company will going to assess the debts as well as the assets of the company, but here if you see the market share will be determined through that of industrial analysis but not through that of the balance sheet. In that context, the D is going to be an incorrect one. Here the correct answer is option C with regarding to balance sheet of a company. Followed by, consider the following statements. Here the industrial development in India to an extent is constrained by which of the following. So here it has asking about what were the different challenges the industrial development has been facing. So if you see with regarding to that of the industrial development, the first one is with regarding to lack of adequate entrepreneurship and again the leadership in business. Usually for the industrial development, the entrepreneurship as well as the leadership is very essential for the innovation of different entrepreneurs. So in India, the industrial development is lagging mainly because of lacking of these entrepreneurs as well as that of the leadership in business, which is a correct one. Then followed by lack of savings to it is not the interest, it is actually investment. Lack of savings to investment. If you see, in order to run a particular industry, we require the investment. Whereas the investment doesn't include only the savings, the resources for the investment will come from the credit and also from the government spending and also through that of the FDI as well. So it is not the savings only, or not only investment does not solely depend on the savings. There are different other sources also which will help in investing in a particular industry. So second one is going to be an incorrect one, then followed by, so without reading 3 and 4 we have reached the correct one, then followed by lack of technology skills and again the infrastructure, because in the modern age and also in the modern industries the updated technology as well as skilled workforce are very essential in order to increase the output. So it is also correct one, then followed by limited purchasing power among the large masses. Usually the industries as well as that of these products will be maintained according to that of the demand and supply of these products. So here the limited purchasing power, that means limited power, that means limited demanding power among the large masses will going to affect the industrial development. So fourth one is also a correct one. So option 1, 3 and 4 are the correct statements. So option B is the correct answer. Then followed by, here it has given that on one side it has given the different products and on the other side it has given different industrial centers, and it has asked in order to match these two. So if you see here in case of the pearl fishing, so usually where you will get to see a lot of pearls, usually in India it is in Gulf of Mannar, you will get to see a large amount and a huge pearls will be observed in the Gulf of Mannar of Tamil Nadu, and it has been located in the Tuticorin. So it will be pearl fishing will be observed in the Tuticorin of Tamil Nadu, followed by automobiles, and the large as well as the huge production of these heavy industry based automobiles were greatly produced in Pune, that means in Maharashtra. First one, then followed by shipbuilding. The shipbuilding has been greatly made in the Marmagaon in Goa Shipyard Building Limited. So here shipbuilding has been greatly observed in the Marmagaon of Goa, then followed by engineering goods. These engineering goods greatly includes all those equipment as well as that of machinery parts which were greatly manufactured in the Pinjore of Haryana. So here as per the match, here the correct code is 2143. So the first one is the correct answer. Then followed by, it has again given a certain companies, and in order to match those companies with the particular location. So here it has given the Atlas Cycle Company Limited. It is a largest cycle company, or that of the company which manufactures a lot of huge production of cycles, and it has been located in the Sonpet Company Limited, that means in Haryana. Then that is the fourth one, then followed by Bharat Earth Movers Limited. This company greatly manufactures the heavy industries, that means this company greatly manufactures the heavy equipment, especially in the defense as well as the infrastructure sector. So here it has been greatly observed in the Bangalore. Then followed by Indian Farmers Fertilizers. So here there is a particular cooperative that is called the IFFCO, which has been observed in the Kalol Cooperative Limited, that means in Gujarat. So here it is 3, then followed by National Aluminium Limited. Even though you do not know where this actually located, especially the last one, the National Aluminium Limited, most of the minerals were greatly observed in the Odisha, Jharkhand area, which is a plateau based area. So on that basis you can match with that Bhubaneswar in Odisha. So here the correct code we got is 4132. So option D is the correct answer. Then followed by, tourism industry in India is quite small compared to many other countries in terms of India's potential size. Which one of the following statements are correct in this particular regard? So among the given statements, it has asking about the tourism sector in India and why the tourism sector India is still lagging, though it has a greater potential. So if you see the first one, it is the distance in India are too far apart and luxury hotels are too expensive for Western tourists. it is a very narrow statement. It is going to be an incorrect one. Followed by, for most of the months, India is too hot for Western tourists to feel comfortable. It is also an incorrect one. Followed by, most of the picturesque resorts in India, such as in the Northeast and Kashmir, are for all practical purposes out of bounds. If you see the last one, in India, the infrastructure required for attracting tourists is inadequate. Actually, the last one is a correct one. That means we were having the very less infrastructure for tourists. And what do you mean by here the term infrastructure? That means especially the tourism infrastructure is very inadequate. It is mainly because of poor connectivity network and also because of poor or less accommodative services and also very less communication services in these areas, especially in the tourism areas. So, because of lagging behind in the tourism infrastructure, we were seeing the underdevelopment of tourism sector in India. So, option D is the correct statement. The next one is, the planning process in the industrial sector in India has assumed a relatively less important position in 90s as compared to that in the earlier period. Which one of the following is not true? Here it is asking about the incorrect statement. Here the given question is, in the after the 1990s and comparison with regarding to before 1990s. Before 1990s, the government planning with regarding to industries were great when compared to that of the after 1990s. And here it has asked that which one of the following is not a correct reason. So, if you see these statements, with the advent of liberalization, industrial investment development have largely been placed within the domain of private and again the multinational sector, which is a correct statement, because after 1990 government has introduced the LPG reforms, that means the liberalization, privatization and globalization reforms, and these reforms have greatly promoted the private sector in the industries. So, it is a correct statement, but here it has asked which of the following is an incorrect one. So, let us read the remaining one. With the market assuming a central place, the role of central planning in many sectors has been rendered redundant, which is also a correct statement. How? Here it has given that the market, here the term market refer to the market forces, that is the demand and again the supply forces of market. It assumes a central place rather than that of the central government in the planning of different products as well as in the running of the market in India. So, option B is also a correct statement. Then followed by, the focus of planning has shifted to sectors like human resources. It is also a correct statement, because when compared to that of the previous period of 1990s, in the post 1990s we have observed the shift to human resources. Here especially human resources refer to education, health, skill and again the employment services. So, that is also a correct statement. Then followed by, the nation's priority have shifted away from industrial development to rural development. Usually if you see this particular statement closely, here the government is focusing on the rural development before as well as the after also. The government has not shifted away from the industrial development to that of the rural development. Industrial development has been present before also and later also, and the rural development is also present, but it has given that the nation's priority has shifted away from industrial development to rural development. There is a rural development programs have been started before as well as after also. There is no such kind of shifting in the after 1990s from the industrial development to rural development. So, it is going to be an incorrect one. So, option D is the incorrect one, which is the correct answer with regarding to this particular statement, with this particular question. Here the question is, which one of the following is the objective of National Renewable Fund? So, for example, you do not know how to solve this particular question, and this particular fund, that is the National Renewable Fund, is very new to you, and how to solve this kind of questions. Here if you closely observe, here in this question it has asked about the National Renewable Fund. So, here if you closely observe, it has given, it is asking about the statements with regarding to a particular fund. Usually different funds will be established in order to provide the welfare services to that of destitute, and also welfare services in order to help and also in order to improve the interests of different workers in those areas. So, with regarding to that approach, if you see the different statements, so to safeguard the interests of workers who may be affected by the technological upgradation of industry or the closure of sick units, which is directly a correct statement. Here the main aim of this particular fund is in order to provide the different services to workers who got affected due to that of industrial restructuring or due to that of industrial restructuring or that of the industrial relocation. Here the services mainly involve providing the training with regarding to updated technologies and also providing the different service and also in order to provide different services in order to sustain in that particular area. Then followed by to develop the core sector of the economy. It is not talking about the core sectors of the economy, it is greatly talking about providing the different welfare services to workers. So here option A is the correct one. If you see the remaining statements also, the third one is for the development of infrastructure such as energy, transportation, communications, as well as that of irrigation. It is not talking about the improvement of the infra, but in order to promote the welfare services. For human resource development such as full literacy, employment, population control, housing, and again drinking water, which is also an incorrect one. So option A is the correct one, which directly talks about this particular fund called the National Renewable Fund. And the next question is, here it has given a match between different products, that means different exported products and again the destination of an export product. Here these all were the exported products from India, and what is the prominent destination country for these exported Indian products. So if you see this particular product, that is the iron ore is greatly exported to Japan, because Japan being located in a certain particular area, it doesn't have any accessibility to different minerals or that of resources, and particularly India exports iron ore greatly to Japan in order to, especially for the industries of steel production. Then followed by leather goods. These leather goods were greatly exported to Russia. Why Russia? Because whatever the standards that India produces with these leather goods, that matches with that of the Russian standards. So for leather goods it is Russia. Then followed by tea. Usually it is UK, because UK being colonized the India for about 2 centuries have greatly got addicted to this tea and habit of drinking tea. So then followed by cotton fabrics. These cotton fabrics were greatly exported to USA. So with regarding to that, the correct code is 3142, that is option B is the correct answer. Then followed by, here it has given that the local supply of coal is not available to which of the following. So if you closely observe, it has given the different iron ore as well as that of steel industries. But if you closely observe, here the Jamshedpur, that is which has been located in the Jharkhand, Bhadravati which has been located in Karnataka, Durgapur and again the Bhilai which has been located in the Madhya Pradesh. So if you closely observe, usually the different minerals such as that of iron ore, manganese, and all these minerals were greatly observed in the Chota Nagpur plateau, which has been located in the areas of Orissa, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh as well as that of the Madhya Pradesh. But this industry, that is the Vishveshwaraya steel industry, which has been located in the Karnataka, which is far away from these minerals, which make this particular industry in order to import or else transport these minerals to this particular industry. So this Vishveshwaraya steel industry, which has been located in the Bhadravati of Karnataka, is located far away from the coal supplies. So option B is the correct answer. Then followed by, consider the following statements. So here the question is, India's public sector health system largely focuses on curative care with limited preventive, promotive as well as the rehabilitative care, which is a correct statement, because Indian public sector services and especially Indian public sector health services greatly focused on in promoting the curative care rather than that of the preventive care. And the reason behind that India has promoting this curative care rather than that of the preventive care, it is mainly because of different historical reasons and also because of different resource allocation and again the resource limitation. If you see the second statement, under India's decentralized approach to healthcare delivery, the states are primarily responsible for organizing the health services. Why do you think so? The states are primarily responsible for organizing these health services, because this particular sector, that is this health sector, has been enlisted in the state list. Usually we were having 3 lists, right? That is the union list, state list as well as that of the concurrent list. Whereas this health sector has been enlisted in the state list. That means the state governments were greatly responsible for different policies as well as the implementation of these health services in different states. So second one is also a correct statement. But if you see the first statement and second statement, there is no relation. These two are the distinct and again different statements. And here the reason for the first statement includes because of limited resources and also different historical reasons. So the second one is not a correct explanation to first statement, but the first statement, and though the first statement and second statement both of them are distinct and correct, but the second statement do not explains the statement 1. So both of them are correct, but statement 2 doesn't explain the statement 1. So option B is the correct statement with regarding to India's public sector in health services. Then followed by, with reference to water credit, consider the following statements. So before getting into different statements, you have to understand what is this particular term called the water credit actually refer to. So here from the name itself you can understand that here it is talking about the credit, that means which is a technical term for loan, right? So here the banks will going to give loan or that of the credit to different people or different individuals in order to help and also in order to overcome the different problems with regarding to water as well as that of the sanitation. And also this water credit program, that which is a microfinance tool which has been brought by the water.org. It is a non-profit organization. This particular non-profit organization is greatly responsible for implementation of this particular microfinance tool, that is called the water credit, where it provides the small loans for different individuals in order to overcome their problems with regarding to water as well as that of sanitation. So with regarding to this particular background and concept, let's see the different statements. It puts microfinance tools to work in the water and again the sanitation sector, which is a directly correct statement. Then followed by, it is a global initiative launched under the aegis of World Health Organization and World Bank, which is a directly an incorrect one. It is because it is the water.org, which is a non-profit organization which has started this water credit initiative, but not the World Health Organization and again the World Bank. So second one is an incorrect one. Then followed by, it aims to enable poor people to meet their water needs without depending on the subsidies, which is also directly a correct statement. So option 1 as well as 3, both of them are the correct statements. So option C is the correct statement, correct answer with regarding to water credit. The next one is, in a given year in India, official poverty lines are higher in some states than in that of other states. Usually if you see the poverty line, what do you mean by this particular term? Poverty line actually refer to, here the poverty line actually refer to a particular price level, and whosoever earn or expend amount below this price level were considered to be as that of the poor or impoverished people, or that of who are living in poverty. That means they were lagging behind that of the basic needs, that means the food, clothing as well as that of the shelter. So with regarding to that, it has given that, it has asked the question that official poverty lines are higher in some states and lower in some states. The reason behind is because of the difference in the price levels in different states. Because of the difference in price levels of different products in different states, which will lead to that of the different poverty lines in different states. So here it has given that, so option B is the correct one, which has directly given that the price levels vary from state to state. Because of the having the different or varying price levels in different states, it will lead to the difference in poverty lines, that means official poverty lines in different states. So option B is the correct answer. Then followed by, consider the following statements. Here it has given that human capital formation as a concept is better explained in terms of process which enables, and it has given that different statements with regarding to human capital formation. So before getting into it, let me give you a brief background with regarding to capital. So capital is of two types, one being that of physical capital and the other one being that of human capital. So here the term physical capital actually refers to inventory, equipment as well as that of the machinery, that means the physical large equipment as well as that of the tools which were greatly used for the production of different goods. If you see the human capital greatly talks about the knowledge, skill as well as the capacity of a particular person. So here it has talking about the human capital, that means it is greatly talking about the knowledge, skill and again the capabilities of a particular person. So if you see the first statement, individuals of a country to accumulate more capital, it is not talking about the accumulation of more capital. Here the accumulation of more capital is greatly talking about the physical capital, not the human capital. So first one is going to be an incorrect one. Then followed by increasing in the knowledge, skill levels and again the capacities of people of the country, which is directly a correct statement. Then followed by accumulation of tangible wealth. If you see these two particular terms, accumulation of tangible wealth and again the intangible wealth, here the physical one actually refer to tangible wealth, whereas that of the human, that means the skill, knowledge, all of these abilities were the intangible in nature. So as here it has given, it has asked about the human capital formation, which is greatly talks about the accumulation of intangible wealth. So it is 4, not 3. So here the options are 2 and 4 are the correct statements with regarding to human capital formation. The next one, despite being a high saving economy, capital formation may not result in the significance in the increasing in the output due to which of the following reasons. It has given that here the question is that though India have a lot of capital, we were having the less output due to which of the following reasons it has given. So here it has given the different statements. Even though you do not know the answer for this particular question, you can solve it through a logic. That is, here if you see the options include the weak administrative machinery, illiteracy, high population density followed by high capital to output ratio. So if you write this high capital to output ratio, when we will going to get the high capital to output ratio? When the numerator is high and the denominator is less, right? So here what does this actually talking about? That means we were investing a lot of capital, but through the investment of this huge capital we were getting very less output. That means which were greatly observed in the developing economies. So that is the question which was greatly reflected here. Though there is a greater investment of the capital, we were still getting the less output. Then only you will going to get the high capital to output ratio, right? So here, even though you do not know the exact one, you have reached the correct answer. That is the option D. That is high capital to output ratio. Then followed by consider the following statements with regarding to National Career Service. So before getting into these statements, let me give you a brief background with regarding to National Career Service. So there is a ministry called the Ministry of Labour and Employment. Under the Ministry of Labour and Employment, there is a Directorate General of Employment. This particular Directorate General of Employment has initiated this particular service called the National Career Service. This service has been implemented in the 2015, and the main aim of this National Career Service is in order to bridge the gap between the job seekers as well as that of the employers. So here if you see the different statements with regarding to National Career Service, this National Career Service is an initiative of the Department of Personnel and Training. It is not Department of Personnel and Training, but it is actually Directorate General of Employment. So first one is an incorrect one. Then followed by National Career Service has been launched in a mission mode in order to improve the employment opportunities to uneducated youth of the country. So here it has mentioned the uneducated youth. Here the main purpose of this particular service is in order to bridge the gap between the job seekers as well as that of employers. So here it includes the job seekers. The job seekers includes both the educated as well as that of the uneducated. So, but it has given only the uneducated. So it is going to be an incorrect one. So the answer is, both of them are incorrect one. So the answer is neither one nor two. Followed by, who among the following can join the National Pension Scheme? So before getting into the different statements, let me give you a brief background with regarding to National Pension Scheme. This National Pension Scheme has been brought by the Government of India in 2004, and under this National Pension Scheme, whosoever the people between 18 to 70 can subscribe, and who can actually avail the benefit of this particular National Pension Scheme include the all Indian citizens as well as that of the NRI people as well as over citizens of India. All these people can avail this scheme who were between the age of 18 to 70 years of age, as well as that of the all state employees who have joined the state government services after the 2004 were directly eligible to be under this particular National Pension Scheme, and also all the central employees also, that means all the central government employees who have joined in the central government services after 2004 will going to be directly applicable under the National Pension Scheme. But here the all central government employees, that doesn't include the armed forces. Armed forces were the exclusion under this particular scheme. So if you see the different statements, here it has given that resident Indian citizens only. It is not the resident Indian citizens only, it includes the NRIs as well as that of overseas citizens of India as well. Then followed by persons of age of 21 to 55. It is not 21 to 55, it is actually 18 to 70 years of age. Then followed by all state government employees joining the services after the date of notification by the respective state governments. It is a correct one. After the union government will release a notification with regarding to this scheme, all the respective state governments will also going to release their own respective state governments notification of this particular scheme. So here all those such state government employees can avail under the state NPS. So C is also a correct one. Then followed by all central government employees including those of the armed forces joining the services on or after 1st April 2004. Usually under this particular scheme all the central government employees but except the armed forces were applicable under this scheme, but here it has given that inclusion of these armed forces. So it made the statement incorrect one. So here option C is the correct answer with regarding to National Pension Scheme. I think the lecture is informative. Thank you.